Hi, so I'm going to continue chapter 2 from the Ink Drinker. We left off yesterday when the boy was looking out for shoplifters and he notices this strange looking customer walking in, and the customer looks like he's floating off the ground. So here's a picture of the boy and here's the strange customer. And I think if you look closely, the customer actually has a straw sticking out of his mouth and into the book. Chapter 2, A Strange Customer. With my very own eyes, I saw the unknown reader drinking a book. I'm not kidding. And I swear I wasn't hallucinating. For 5 minutes, I saw him walking silently between the shelves with his eyes closed and his arms stretched out in front of him. It was as though he were listening to the sound of the books. All of a sudden, sorry, that was my puppy. All of a sudden, he seized one. Then things got even crazier. He didn't open the book. He simply separated the middle pages, created a slit. Through the slit, he inserted a straw, which he took out of his pocket, and he started sucking on it. A look of absolute pleasure spread over his face, as if the book contained an ice cream soda. To be sure, it was a super hot day, definitely not weather for book shopping. I gasped in surprise. That was a mistake. The strange customer obviously heard me because he quickly reshelved the book, put the straw back in his pocket, and headed straight for the door. Here goes. And look at the book. It's missing the words. As soon as he was gone, I jumped out of my hiding space and went to examine the book in which he had inserted the straw. It was easy enough to find because the book was thin and had a rubber-like texture. As I pulled it off the shelf, I was struck by its incredible lightness. If there had been a gust of wind, the book would have blown away. But that wasn't all. When I opened the book, I almost fainted. It was blank. There wasn't a single word left on the pages. That weird reader had drunk the ink of the book down to nearly the very last letter. And there he goes. He's looking out of the bookstore. Chapter 3, The Chase. I was so excited that I didn't have time to be afraid. I had to take action, and fast. I was convinced the strange customer would never come back to the store, since he had heard me gasp and knew that someone had caught him drinking ink. I had two choices. I either could tell my dad everything I just seen, or I could figure this thing out on my own, like a real detective. I knew my father would never believe me anyway. He might even accuse me of erasing the letters one by one. After all, he knows I'm allergic to reading, so I decided to follow the tracks of this odd reader. "Where are you off to?" Dad asked as I dashed toward the door. "Just out," I called back. In the street, the glare and the heat of the sun hit me full blast, and I was afraid I had taken too much time making up my mind. The ink drinker had vanished. I started to run, weaving in and out among the pedestrians, and raced up the block. Nothing. But giving up was out of the question. This was clearly a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. I persisted in my chase and finally caught sight of the customer. Instantly, I recognized his peculiar looks and his unmistakable walk. He was moving quickly, but his legs were motionless. Everyone in the street steered clear of him. I stopped behind a tree to catch my breath and then followed in his tracks. And that's how I ended up in front of the cemetery. And there he goes. Chapter 4 is the cemetery, but I'll finish that tomorrow. Have a great day 4, remote learning. You guys are doing a great job. I'm checking in and out of the classrooms, and you are respectful. You're doing your work. So continue. Listen to your parents. Behave. And take some time to relax in between remote learning sessions. I'll see you tomorrow.